Cabbages are one of the most important cash crops in Africa, but also attract a wide range of pests, leading to loss of yield. Grace Wanjiko is a farmer in Wungige on the outskirts of Nairobi and knows only too well why she must safeguard her crop.
I am not sure what disease affects my crops, but sometimes the vegetables turn yellow.
Wangari, a farmer, plants traditional vegetables and kales. Pests attack the kales, she says, leaving a white residue. The price of pesticides is exorbitant, but these farmers have no choice.
The worst of them all is the white fly. If you spray the fly, it disappears and then reappears after a few days.
Among the most common problems affecting cabbages and tomatoes include the bollworm, which causes holes in tomatoes, the diamond backmoth, and aphids. But these farmers may have a reason to smile soon, courtesy of a new technology that is currently being tested. Research underway at the Kenya Agricultural Research Institute, Kari, shows that a modified form of the mosquito net can be used to protect cabbage plants from pests and diseases.
Release of certain smell by the chemical. And this chemical, then that smell prevents the insect from coming closer to the nets. So the first thing, more or less like 90% of the effects of the chemical is repelling. So you just pull the pest away.
The crops also mature faster because of moisture retention, high temperature, and high rate of carbon dioxide inside the net. But insect-proof screens under tropical conditions usually pose the challenge of overheating and excessive shade. To prevent this, the net is removed during the day when most insect pests are less active.
Because for crop like tomatoes, you require pollinators so that you can fertilize your flowers and you can have fruits. So if we open it 3 times, we allow pollinators to come in. We also allow natural enemies so that we don't need to use chemicals on those pests that have gotten. The natural enemies can feed on those pests.
Traditionally, bed nets are used to trap and prevent mosquitoes from biting human beings and infecting them with malaria, a deadly tropical disease. So I was curious to know why an institution would want to engage in such waste. Well, Dr. Moore explains that people should not use their mosquito nets to protect their crops since that might increase the risk of malaria. The nets used in agriculture, he says, are modified nets, cheaper and lower in quality. They cannot be used to prevent mosquitoes because they have bigger pores which would allow the vectors to penetrate. As such, the researchers are not worried that people will stop using the nets to prevent mosquitoes.
The crop takes a longer time, 4 weeks. But in the crops that are under the net, it took us like 2 weeks to 3 weeks, and we had to transplant them because they were already really grown up.
The research was informed by the adverse effects caused by continued use of pesticides.
If you take your crops to the market and you say you use pesticides, people will not buy your product. They believe it causes disease in human beings.
Product to be used safely on edible crops, you have to take into account what you call residue levels. So in essence, what it means, if you respect what you call the pre-harvest interval, this is the time between the time of application and the time of harvest. The product should have safely broken down to levels that are harmless to the person who's going to consume the produce.
When used continually, pests develop resistance.
Rotation of the crop. This helps to avoid something we call delay or delaying the development of resistance to pests and disease. This will arise from continual use of the product.
The efficacy of nets in agriculture was first investigated in Benin in 2003, and the technology is under investigation into other research sites in Kenya, after which farm implementation trials will commence. Ordinarily, tomatoes take upwards of 3 months before they can be harvested. But this new technology has proved that tomatoes can take considerably shorter time in the field, and the advantage is that pests and diseases can be controlled without the use of pesticides. Rosalia Omungo, Channel 1 News at the Kari headquarters, Nairobi.